A warm welcome to all the viewers for the course Advanced Manufacturing Technology. Myself Thia Pal, Assistant Professor of Department of Mechanical Engineering, JIS College of Engineering, and today I am going to give a lecture on electron beam machining. Well, you all are aware of non-traditional machining process, and today I am going to discuss one of the advanced non-traditional machining process or non-conventional machining process, which is very commonly known as electron beam machining. And this is also a thermal process, and you are using this electron beam to melt the base metal or the workpiece and to get the desired product or the desired shape. So before we proceed with the electron beam machining, let's have a look at the content. So in the content, first of all, we are going to study the introduction of EBM. Then we will be proceeding with the working principle. It will be followed by the equipments of EBM. Then we will have a look for electron gun construction. Then we are going to study how vacuum is created. And then we will be having a brief discussion on mechanism of material removal. And it will be followed by all the advantages, disadvantages of electron beam machining process. And of course, we are going to have a look for the application too. So without any further delay, let's move to the next slide. So we are having a look for introduction of electron beam machining. Basically, if we talk about electron beam machining, then it is a thermal process. Here, a stream of high-speed electrons impinges on the work surface, whereby the kinetic energy transferred to the work material produces intense heating. Now, depending on the intensity of the heat that was generated, the material can melt or vaporize. The process of heating by an electron beam can, depending on the intensity, be used for annealing, welding, or metal removal. Very high velocities can be obtained by using enough voltage. For example, an accelerating voltage of 1,50,000 volt, and it can produce an electron velocity near about 2,28,478 km per second. So just imagine that accelerating voltage can be of 1,50,000 volt, as well as it can produce electron velocity of 2,28,478 km per second. Since an electron beam can be focused to a point with 10 to 200 micron meter diameter, and the most important thing is that the power density can go up to 6,500 billion watt per millimeter square. And such a power density can vaporize any substance immediately. So what it can focus? It can focus to a point of diameter 10 to 200 micron meter. It can also use the power density up to 6,500 billion watt per millimeter square. Now, such a power density can vaporize any substance immediately. Thus, electron beam machining is nothing but a very precisely controlled vaporization process. Electron beam machining is a suitable process for drilling fine holes and cutting narrow slot. Holes with 25 to 125 micron meter diameter can also be drilled almost instantaneously in sheet with thickness up to 1.25 millimeter. and the narrowest slot which can be cut by EBM has a width of 25 micron meter. So whatever we are talking about the electron beam machining, here in this particular point again it has been told that it is a thermal material removal process that basically utilize focus beam of high velocity electron to perform high speed drilling and cutting. So laser beam, electron beam, they are basically used for drilling purpose also, cutting purpose also. And one thing is that used with a high power density to machine materials also. And the mechanism of material removal is very simple. It is primarily melting and rapid vaporization. It is helping to do due to the intense heating by the electrons. Well, electron beam machining, this electron beam machining is also known as electro-optical thermal process. So electron beam machining is also known as electro-optical thermal process. And with this electron beam machining, very high drilling rate can be achieved. And most important thing is that it can machine almost any material. So you need to know that whether the material is hard, whether the material is electrical conductivity or something, but it can machine almost any material. It can machine brittle material also. So in the next slide you can see this is a particular setup of electron beam machining. The setup is very simple, you can see. First of all, you can see there is a high voltage cable. Okay, there is a high voltage cable and it has been seen that is 30 volt DC is supplied, 30 kilovolt DC has been supplied, and you can see there is a cathode grid. This is your cathode grid. So with this cathode grid you can see the supply, high voltage cable supply has been connected, which is having a supply of 30 kilovolt DC. Now this is the anode. You can see there anode, isn't it? This is the anode, you can see. And this is the anode. This is the anode. And you can see the electron beam that is coming here. With the help of this valve, there is an electron stream. This electron stream, it is coming and getting reflected, and it has been focused at this particular workpiece. And this is your work table. There is a magnetic lens, deflection coil. This is your magnetic lens. This is your deflecting coil, which is helping the electron beam to get focused over the workpiece. And this entire thing is occurring in a vacuum chamber. You can see this is the vacuum chamber. Okay, this is the vacuum chamber. And this is your work table over which the workpiece has been placed. And here a vacuum has been maintained. And the most important thing is that there is an outlet where the high vacuum pump is occurring. So if I look at this particular figure, then it is very simple. Now if I ask you what are the parts that are associated or the equipment that are associated with electron beam machining, then from this particular figure you are able to see high voltage, cathode grid, anode, electron stream, magnetic lens, deflection coil, vacuum chamber is there, work table is there, work piece is also there. And if you want to view this one system, then there is an optical viewing system also located here. Okay, so now let's have a look how this process basically occurred. Well, there are different jet or beam process. If I talk about, you are aware of abrasive jet machining, water jet machining also. These two are basically mechanical jet process. Now, if I talk about the thermal jet or beam, then a few are oxyacetylene flame, welding arc, plasma flame, etc. But basically, electron beam machining as well as laser beam machining are such thermal beam processes. And here in this particular figure, you can see the variation in the power density versus the characteristic dimension of different thermal beam processes. Characteristic length is the diameter over which the beam or flame is active. In case of oxyacetylene flame or welding arc, the characteristic length is in millimeter to tens of millimeter and the power density is typically low. Now, electron beam may have a characteristic length of tens of microns to millimeter and it is depending on degree of focusing of the beam. In case of defocused electron beam, power density would be as low as 1 watt per millimeter square. But in case of focused beam, the same can be increased to tens of kilowatt per millimeter square. Similarly, as we can see in this particular figure, that laser beam can be focused overall a spot of a size 10 to 100 micron meter with a power density as high as 1 megawatt per millimeter square. But electrical discharge typically provide even high power density with smaller spot. Now, electron beam machining and laser beam machining are typically used with a higher power density to machine. To machine what? To machine a material. And the mechanism of material removal is primarily by melting and rapid vaporization due to the intense heating by the electrons and laser beam respectively. Okay, so now let's move to the next slide. So here we are discussing the basic principle. What is the basic principle you can see? This machining process works on basic principle of conversion of kinetic energy of electron into heat energy. And when high speed electron impinges on the workpiece, they convert its kinetic energy into heat energy. So what I was talking that basically the machining principle of electron beam machining depends on the conversion of kinetic energy of the electron into heat energy. So there is a conversion of kinetic energy of electrons into heat energy. And when the high speed electron impinges on a workpiece, they convert its kinetic energy into heat energy. Now this heat energy is used to vaporize the material at a contact surface. And this process is basically carried out in vacuum. Otherwise, the electrons will collide with the air particle and it will lose its energy before impinging on the work material. So again I am repeating that why we are carrying out the entire mechanism. Why we are carrying out the entire mechanism in vacuum chamber. Because if we are not carrying out in the vacuum chamber, then this electron will come and collide with the air particle and it will lose its energy before it is impinged on the work material. So you have to keep in mind that what is exactly happening right now here in this particular setup. So now let's have a look for the next slide. So the thing is that finally we came about the equipment. Isn't it? We have seen so many things, but basically the thing is that it consists of some equipment. So now let's have a look for the equipment. Well, in the figure of electron beam machining, okay, if I go for that particular slide, you have seen the figure for the electron beam machining. Okay, in this particular figure, what you are able to see is that this schematic representation of electron beam gun, which is the heart of an electron beam machining facility, and the basic function of any electron beam gun are to generate the free electron at the cathode and accelerate them to a sufficiently high velocity and to focus them over a small spot size. Further, the beam needs to be maneuvered if required by the gun. Next, here in the figure you can see the cathode, isn't it? I have told you this is the cathode. Now, the cathode is seen in this particular figure, which is generally made of tungsten or tantalum, and such cathode filament are heated often inductively to a temperature of around 2500 degrees Celsius. Now, such heating leads to thermo-ionic emission of electrons, which is further enhanced by maintaining very low vacuum within the chamber of the electron beam gun. Moreover, this cathode cartridges is highly negatively based because the thermo-ionic electrons are strongly repelled away from the cathode. And the cathode is often in the form of cartridge so that it can be changed very quickly to reduce downtime in case of failure. Now, just after the cathode, you can see there is a angular basic grid, isn't it? This is the angular basic grid. There will be an angular basic grid. I am showing with this one like this. This is a angular basic grid. Okay, like this there will be angular basic grid. Okay, this blue color representing angular basic grid. So this is your angular basic grid. Now if I talk about this angular basic grid, then the first thing is arise, what is the use of this one? A high negative basis is applied to this grid so that electrons generated by this cathode do not diverge and approaches the next element, that is the angular anode, in the form of a beam. And the angular anode now attracts the electron beam and gradually gets accelerated. As they leave the anode section, the electron may achieve a velocity as high as half of the velocity of light. Now, the nature of biasing just after the cathode control, the flow of electron and the biased grid is used as a switch to operate the electron beam gun in pulse mode. And after the anode, and you can see here there is an anode, isn't it? This anode. And after this the anode, the electron beam passes through a series of magnetic lens and aperture. So you can see series of this beam, it is getting through the magnetic lens and the aperture. Now the magnetic lens shape the beam and it try to reduce the divergence, because if divergence is occurring, then there will be less concentration of the focus of the beam over the workpiece. So you will not get your desired output. So to avoid this divergence, the magnetic lens has been kept there to avoid the divergence of beam. Now there is an aperture on the other side which allows only to convergence the electron. So there is also one aperture that has been used for converging the electrons and to pass and capture the divergent low energy electrons from the fringes. This way, the aperture and magnetic lens improves the quality of the electron beam. Then the electron beam passes through the final section of the electromagnetic lens and the deflection coil. You can see there is a deflection coil also and there is a magnetic lens also. So the electron beam passes through the final section of the electromagnetic lens and the deflection coil. Now the electromagnetic lens basically focuses the electron beam to a desired spot, and the deflection coil can maneuver the electron beam, though by small amount, to improve shape of the machined hole. Now generally in between the electron beam gun and the workpiece, which is also under vacuum, there would be a series of slotted rotating discs, and such disc allows the electron beam to pass and machine material by helpfully preventing metal fumes and vapor generate during machining to reach the gun. Thus, it is essential to synchronize the motion of the rotating disc and pulsing of the electron beam gun. Now, electron beam gun are also provided with illumination facilities and a telescopic for alignment of the beam with the workpiece. Now, workpiece is mounted on a CNC table so that the whole of any shape can be machined using the CNC control and beam deflection inbuilt in the gun. Now, if I look at one of the major requirement of electron beam machining operation, then the most important thing you have to keep in mind, that is electron beam machining operation of electron beam gun is maintenance of a desired vacuum. And the level of vacuum within the gun, it should be in the order of 10 to the power minus 4 to 10 to the power minus 6 torr. Basically 1 torr is equal to 1 millimeter of mercury. And the maintenance of suitable vacuum is essential, as I have already told you that electrons do not lose their energy if they come in contact with the air particle. And it should be maintained, or you can say a significant line of the cathode cartridges is also maintained. So you have to maintain this both thing. One is the vacuum, another is the cathode cartridges. Its significant life, it should be maintained. Now such vacuum is basically achieved and maintained using a combination of rotary pump and diffusion pump. Now the diffusion pump is attached to the diffusion pump port of the electron beam gun. And diffusion pump is essentially an oil heater. So if I ask here, you can see there is a high vacuum pump. This high vacuum pump is none other than your diffusion pump. And diffusion pump is essentially, it is an oil heater. As the oil is heated, the oil is vapor, rushed upward where gradually converging, and the nozzle changes the direction of the motion of the oil vapor, and the oil vapor start moving downward at a high velocity as jet. And such high velocity jet of oil vapor entrain any air molecule present within the gun. And this oil is evacuated by a rotary pump via the backing line. And the most important thing is that the oil vapor condenses due to the presence of cooling water jacket, around the diffusion pump too. Okay, so now let's have a look for the next slide. So we people are talking about equipment. So we were discussing about the parts or the equipments. We are talking about electron gun. So electron gun is nothing but the heart of electron beam, and without this you cannot operate. And it is used to generate electron, because unless you generate the electron, the entire operation cannot be conducted. Now it is very simply a cathode ray tube is there which generate the electron. It accelerates them to sufficient velocity and focus them at a small spot size. Now in this gun, the cathode is made up of tungsten or tantalum. And you know the cathode filament is heated up to 2500 degrees centigrade. Vacuum in the chamber. Now next thing is that we are talking about annular bias grid. So electron beam gun has been covered. Now we will be discussing about annular bias grid. Now it is next element of electron beam machining. It is just after electron gun, and basically it is an anode which is connected by the negative bias, so that the electron generated by the cathode do not diverge from its path and approaches to the next element. And when the electron leaves the section, the velocity of the electron is almost half of the velocity of light. So you can see how fast it travels. So annular bias grid, it is helping not to get diverged, that the electron generated by the cathode. Otherwise, your machining will be not performed perfectly. So now let's move to the next slide. Next, we have already discussed about magnetic lens. Obviously, magnetic lens, it has got a very important functions also. After the anode, the magnetic lens are provided, which basically shape the beam and does not allow to diverge electrons or reduce the divergency of beam. And the most important thing is that these lens allow to pass only convergent electron. No divergent electron is allowed to pass through this lens. So magnetic lens, it plays a very important role because it only allows to go with the convergent electron. And thus a high focused beam is obtained. They also capture low energy electron, and this increases the quality of your beam. Next, we will be discussing about electromagnetic lens and deflecting coil. Now, electromagnetic lens is basically used to focus the electron beam at a spot. So, if you are focusing the electron beam at a spot, then what happens over that particular material? The intensity of the heat will help to melt the base material, as well as it will allow it to vaporize the material, and it will help to carry out the entire operation. Now they basically use to focus a beam at a spot on workpiece so as high intense beam reach at a work surface, and this will produce more heat and improve your machining property. Now deflection coil does not allow the beam deflect. We have talked about deflection coil, isn't it? This deflection coil will not allow to deflect the beam, and it will take care of the electron moves in the series and help it to get a high intense beam. So you can see for melting purpose, for vaporization purpose, if we talk about for melting purpose, that is, if we talk about the melting purpose, or you take about the vaporization, if you talk about the vaporization purpose, then you need a high intense beam. And the most important thing, this high intense beam is obtained due to the deflection coil because it allows all the beam to deflect. It takes care about all the electron moves in a series. Finally, that is the equipment which is very important, that is workpiece and work holding device. Because if you don't have the workpiece, then what is the use of performing the machining operation? So here we have discussed about the workpiece and work holding device. And the most important thing is that it can machine both metallic and non-metallic material also. And the workpiece is held by a suitable fixture which is mounted on CNC table, because CNC is going to operate the movement of the table so that you can acquire desired hole that you want to get in the product. Now this table can be moved in 3 directions, and this is helping you to control the shape of the machining. So from here you can see what are the important equipment that are associated. First of all we have talked about that is electron gun. Then we have talked about angular bias grid. Then we have talked about magnetic lens. Then we have discussed about electromagnetic lens, deflection coil. Then finally we came about the workpiece and work holding device. So you have to remember about all this particular point. Now we'll be little bit discussing about your electron gun construction. So basically electron gun is defined as the source of focused and accelerated electron beam. And most important thing is that it is a device used in cathode ray tube for displaying the image on the phosphorus screen of CRT. Next you can see that electron gun emits electrons and forms them into a beam by the help of a heater, cathode, grid, pre-accelerating, accelerating and focusing anode. So if you have a basic look for the electron gun construction, then the thing that is being told about electron gun is that it always try to give a source of focused and accelerated electron beam. It is also a device which is used in cathode ray tube for displaying the images on the phosphorus screen of CRT, and the electron gun emits electron and form them into a beam by helping of or you can say by taking the help of a heater, cathode, grid, pre-accelerating, accelerating and focusing anode. So you can say this is the basic construction of your gun. There is a power system you can see, and this is your cylinder. This is the cylinder. This is the total. This is the cylinder. Okay. And you can see there is a hot cathode. This is your hot cathode because you are giving a supply to this particular cathode. There is a control grid. So from here it is getting emitted. The control grid is there. There is a pre-accelerating anode is also located. This is your pre-accelerating anode and it is passing through it. Then it is coming to the focusing anode and finally you are achieving the electron beam. This is the electron beam that you are achieving, and you can see it has been focused here. It has been focused here. This is the electron beam. You can see this has been focused here. So this is basically the electron gun construction. This is the basically your electron gun construction. So if I am removing all the things, then you can have a look properly. Again I am repeating, the electron gun construction. A supply system is there. This is the entire cylinder. There is a hot cathode. You are giving a supply, and from this hot cathode the beam is getting ejected. There is a control grid which is helping it to proceed through the pre-accelerating anode, and you can see the beam is again passing, and with the help of focusing anode the electron beam is ejected and it is getting collected in the cylinder. So this is the electron gun construction. It is very important. Why it is important? Because this is only, electron gun is the heart of electron beam machining. Because unless you generate the electron, how can you accelerate the process? So it is very important for all of us to know about the construction of electron gun, as because it is the heart of your electron beam machining construction. Now let's move to the next slide. So we are talking about the construction of what? Electron gun, isn't it? So first thing is a heater. You can see the heater. What is the function of a heater? Basically the heater converts the electrical energy in the form of heat. Next, it has a resistor which obstructs the flow of the current and convert it into thermal energy. And finally, the heater heats the cathode electrode and emits the electron. So the basic function of heater, if I have a look at this particular construction, the most important thing is the heater which converts the electrical energy in the form of heat. And it has also got a resistor which basically obstructs the flow of current. And its main function is to convert it into thermal energy. And the heater heats the cathode electrode and it helps to get emitted electron. Next we are talking about the control grid. You have also have a look in the control grid. Now what is this control grid? The control grid is basically a nickel cylinder and it is a metallic cup which has a lower permeability steel. So control grid, if I have a look for the construction, it is basically made up of nickel cylinder and it has got a metallic cup which has a lower permeability steel. Now it is about 15 millimeter long and its diameter is having 15 millimeter. So length and diameter both are same. It is of 15 millimeter and the hole of about 0.25 millimeter is drilled in the cup of the grid for the flow of electron. So you need to make a flow of electron, isn't it, through the cap of the grid, and that's why a hole of 0.25 millimeter has been drilled there. Now the intensity of the electron beam passing through the grid, it also depends upon the emission of the electrons. And the control grid is always negative biasing, due to which it controls the flow of electron. So the control grid is a negative biasing, due to which it controls the flow of electron. Now let's move to the next slide. Now we have already talked about pre-acceleration and acceleration anode. So the pre-acceleration and acceleration anode basically accelerate the beam that is passing through the gun. And these anodes are connected to a high potential for accelerating the electron. So what is the function of pre-accelerating anode? To accelerate the beams passing through the gun. And these guns are connected to the high potential for accelerating your electron. And finally, the last point of the electron gun construction is your focusing anode. So after passing through the pre-acceleration and acceleration electrode, the electron are passing through the focusing anode. And the focusing anode produces the beam of sharply focusing electron. Now the electron gun are placed inside the glass tube so that electron beam did not interact with the air molecule. Because if it interacts with the air molecule, the energy will drop there. So the intensity of heat that is required for machining purpose, it is not possible for all of us to get opt-in. So now let's come to the conclusion. So please stay connected with my channel so that you can have a look for the entire operation. As you know, in this particular lecture, we have already discussed about laser beam machining. I mean to say electron beam machining. Laser beam machining little bit we have discussed because both are basically thermal based process. So the part 1 lecture of electron beam machining, basically it covers the mechanical or mechanism behind the machining process. And also we have discussed the equipment. We have also discussed the electron gun construction. So in my next slide or in my next presentation or in my next lecture, I am going to discuss about the process parameter that is affecting your electron beam machining. What are the process capability? What are the application? What are the advantages and disadvantages of this electron beam machining? We are going to study in my next lecture. So if you have liked the video, please subscribe the channel, like the video, comment on the video so that I can follow up what is your requirement. And thank you for listening this video. Thank you very much.